Yo, what's good, everybody? I'm rhickey28. Welcome to the YouTube channel. It's Sunday, so it's everybody's favorite time of week. It is roster update time. Every single Sunday, we're coming out with roster update prediction videos so that you can make a ton of stubs in MLB The Show 22. So if you like this sort of content, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna jump straight into the video because we got a lot to talk about today. The first gold to diamond card that we're going to talk about today is Kenley Jansen. His biggest spot that he needs to be boosted in is walks per 9. And in this update cycle, Kenley pitched 3 innings, gave up 0 walks. In his past 6 games, that's 6 innings, he's got 0 walks. Before that, he had 1 walk in 1 inning, 1 walk in 1 inning, and 0 walks again in another inning. So really in his past 9 innings, he's only given up 2 walks. He's got a 2.6 walks per 9 for the entire season right now. So I really think that Kenley Jansen is a prime upgrade candidate, and I really honestly believe that he's going to go diamond in this update. Our second gold to diamond candidate is the only starting pitcher that we have on our list. I know what you're saying right now. What about Zach Wheeler? What about Sandy Alcantara? Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think they did enough in this update period to get the boost to diamond in the areas that they're weakest in. He didn't really do so great with the walks. He has had a couple of solid outings since the last update. He gave up 3 walks in 6 innings in his start on the 12th. That's not really great. However, his next start, he came out really strong. 2 walks in 8 innings pitched. Really not bad at all. 2.25 walks per 9 in that game. His season numbers are at 3.33 walks per 9. He really should get maybe a little bit of an increase, but to be honest, his Ks per 9 can also be given a nice healthy boost. He had himself another 8 strikeouts in 6 innings and 8 strikeouts in 8 innings in his last 2 starts. He's got 11.22 Ks per 9 on the season. That is a really incredible number. 82 is just not really indicative of how well he's actually been doing. Not to mention, in his last 2 starts for the update, he's only given up 2.57 hits per 9. That is another incredible number. He's been doing really well this season, not giving up too many hits. So it's possible that his boost doesn't necessarily have to come from walks per 9. His boost can still come from the hits per 9 and the Ks per 9. Austin Hayes' biggest flaws are his stats versus lefties. And since the last roster update, he has had incredible stats versus lefties. He's 4 for 11. He's got himself 2 home runs. That's a 364 average. On the season, he's batting 209 versus left. Yes, it's not great, but just a slight boost is gonna get him to the 85 to get to diamond. So with those 2 home runs, he should at minimum get a boost to his power versus left, and honestly, even his average numbers versus left, I think that's going to get a slight uptick as well. He's had a little bit of a rough go versus right-handed pitching in the past couple weeks. He's batting only 192, but honestly, on the season, he's batting 315 versus righties with 6 home runs. I think the 63 power is going to stay still. Maybe it gets a slight downtick, but I think that 315 average will keep his contact versus right at the same level. So getting the bump with the power versus left and the contact versus left, I really honestly see Austin Hayes making the jump to diamond. Edwin Diaz is a guy that we talked about on our early predictions watch list. Edwin Diaz needed to kind of not walk people. He pitched 4 2/3 innings. He did walk 1 person, but honestly, in his last 9 innings, he's only walked 3. That's a little better than his year-long walks per 9 average. He's at 3.76. So honestly, I don't really think he deserves a 48. He should get the bump to like the 50s, you know. He's striking out people at an unbelievable clip. Since the last roster update, He had 2 strikeouts in 1 inning, 5 strikeouts in 1 2/3, and 2 strikeouts in another inning. So 105 Ks per 9 is already really high, but I can see that getting the uptick, a bump to the Ks per 9, a bump to the walks per 9, and Edwin Diaz is at the 85 level. It doesn't take much to get him there. I think it's Edwin Diaz's week finally. We're talking about another relief pitcher right now, Ryan Helsley. The man has had an unbelievable start to the season. We've seen him get upgraded a few times this year, and his numbers are still not indicative of the season that he's having right now. Since the last roster update, he's pitched 2 2/3 innings, and in those 2 2/3 innings, he struck out 5 batters. That's 27 Ks per 9, 9 Ks per 9, and 18 Ks per 9 in each of those games. On the season, he's got 12.6 Ks per 9. Helsley still deserves a little bit of a boost to those Ks per 9. He did walk a batter in his last game, but he's honestly not walked that much this season. He's got a 2.52 walks per 9 this year, so I can see Helsley getting the bump. I don't know if it's gonna be enough to get him to Diamond. It really depends on how generous they are with the Ks per 9, but Helsley should at least get the bump up to 84. His walks per 9 are very solid. His Ks per 9 might get a little bit of a tick up, and Helsley, you're looking at a guy that could very easily go Diamond. If not this update, then the next one. Also, one quick thing about Helsley is that his hits per 9 are at 106, so that's incredibly high already. However, I will say this, Helsley has not given up a hit since the last roster update. The next 3 guys are guys that I'm not fully convinced are going to go Diamond during this update. However, they're guys to keep an eye on. David Bednar may very well get the bump up to 84. He might get a little bit of an increase. His biggest flaws are his walks per 9. He had 3.86 walks per 9 during this update cycle, but on the season, he's giving up 1.99 walks per 9. So 73 is not really indicative of that, in my opinion. He's also striking out almost 12 batters per 9 innings. There's reason to believe that he could get a bump to Ks per 9. He could get a bump to walks per 9. He had 9.64 Ks per 9 in 4.2 innings. He did have 3.86 walks per 9, so that number is a little higher than what he's been doing all season, but David Bednar definitely deserves some sort of bump, so he could be a candidate for next week. The next kind of mid-jump guy that we're going to be talking about, he's not quite going to get himself to Diamond, but we could see a +2, maybe even a +3 to his overall. Adolis Garcia has been on fire. He's batting .370 with 2 home runs versus righties right now since the last update cycle. That's in 27 at bats. He's got only 55 contact. He's got 69 power. So maybe the power doesn't move too much, but the contact should get a solid boost. We could see that help take him to the next level. He's also batting .400 versus lefties since the last update. He's only 2 for 5, but it is a good sign. His contact versus left is really not in the right spot for Adolis Garcia at the moment. He's batting .205 versus lefties. Yes, it's not great, but Adolis is on his way up. He's gonna get at least a point or 2 to his overall. So Adolis Garcia is one of those guys that's on his way to Diamond. If he keeps it up, we could probably see it on the next roster update. The last gold that we're going to be talking about that's going to get a little bit of a bump to, like, let's call it a higher gold level, is probably going to be Brandon Drury. Brandon Drury has been on fire, just like Adolis Garcia. He's batting .286 versus righties in this cycle. He's got 2 home runs versus them and a double in that time in 28 at-bats. 55 contact Brandon Drury should get some sort of a boost to his contact versus right. It's kind of crazy that he's only at 55 because on this season, he's got a 304 average versus right-handed hitting. 55 is not good for a 304 average. So we're definitely going to see the increase to the contact versus right this update. We should anyway. Brandon Drury could easily become an 82, 83, something like that. Maybe he could be on his way to diamond if he keeps it up. He also has those 2 home runs versus righties. That 73 power could get bumped up slightly. Even though he won't go diamond in this update, he will get some sort of boost to become a slightly higher gold. And you know what? That's good enough to make Stubs on. Talking about our first silver to gold, we got Ian Happ on the table. Ian Happ, since the last update, has batted 333 versus righties. He's batting 255 versus righties on the season. He should get a boost to his contact versus right in this update. We would have liked to have seen a little power versus left this time around. He's not really going to get a boost to that. He doesn't have any extra base hits versus lefties, but he is still batting 375 since the last update versus lefties. So that contact versus left will stay put. It's solid. Ian Happ will not get a downgrade there, but what he should get an upgrade on is gonna be that contact versus right. As you can see, a +4 boost to the contact versus right and a +4 boost to the power is gonna get him to that gold level, that 80 overall. Now, I don't think he's going to get really a boost to his power. He did have a home run. However, that contact versus right, it really does need and deserves a nice healthy boost. You know, a good 5, 6, 7 points probably gets him the way to gold. Now, Michael A. Taylor, he has deserved a bump to his hitting stats all year long. I think it's time for Michael A. Taylor to get to the gold level. He's got a tremendous defense that's really anchoring his card. That's what's keeping his overall all the way at 79. So that's the type of thing that we really want. We want a guy with great defense that's going to really anchor the card, keep it strong, and with just a little bit of a boost to his hitting stats, he should get to gold. So Michael A. Taylor, since the last update, batting 400 versus righties. He's only got 1 home run. I don't see much of a boost to the power coming in. However, 400 batting average versus righties, 52 contact versus righties. Now, let's look at his season as a whole. A 306 average on the season in 115 plate appearances from Michael A. Taylor. His 52 contact versus right is not indicative of the season that he's having. Michael A. Taylor should at minimum get a really healthy boost to his contact versus right, and it's going to take him right to the gold level. Another silver getting ready for a boost to gold is Ryan Mountcastle. He's got very solid hitting stats. However, his contact versus left is holding him back a little bit. Since the last update, in 11 at-bats, Mountcastle has 5 hits. He's batting 455 versus left. He's got himself a home run, so his power numbers should stay. Who knows? Maybe they even give him a little bit of a boost. And his numbers versus righties, also really solid. 276 average, 3 home runs in 29 at-bats. 276 average is gonna make sure that that 78 contact stays at least at that level. However, the 3 home runs, he may even get a little bit of a boost to the power versus right. So between the contact versus left and the power versus right, Ryan Mountcastle should make it to gold during this update. Jeff McNeil is another great candidate to get to the gold level. He only needs 1 extra tick up to 80. He's got the solid defense anchoring his card just like Michael Taylor did. He's not really going to get too much in the way of power during this update. However, that contact versus left, he's only at 52. Since the last update, he's been 5 for 8, batting 714 versus lefties. And on the season, he's batting 290 versus lefties. It has been a long time coming for Jeff McNeil. He has needed a boost to his contact versus left. He's deserved it. I think that in this update, it should be coming. Bryan Reynolds has had kind of an up and down year, but he's finally getting it back on track. One of the hottest hitters in baseball over the past couple weeks. He's batting 462 versus lefties. So that 81 contact, it might get a little bit of a boost, but realistically, that's not really what we're looking at too much. His numbers versus righties are what we're looking at. A 474 average since the last update. 49 contact, he deserves a much better boost than that. Plus, he had 3 home runs, a triple, and a double, so that power versus right may also get the bump up. Bryan Reynolds should, at minimum, be back to a gold player. Lourdes Gurriel is another guy that I'm taking a look at to make the leap from silver to gold. My only problem with him is that he is at a 77 overall. So what I could see SDS kind of doing is giving him a little bit of a bump up. He only gets to 79. He's not quite at the gold level. They just want to see if he can continue to stay consistent. Since the last roster update, he's batting 300 against lefties in 10 at-bats. He only had 1 extra base hit. It was a double. No big deal. I don't really see that power getting bumped up. But versus righties, Gurriel has really stepped up his game. He's batting 409 since the last update. His contact is only at a 60. 409 is definitely deserving of some sort of boost. For the season, he's batting 275 versus righties, and he's only batting 256 versus lefties. His lefty contact is at 67, so if that's any indication of where his contact versus right should be, he's got 20 points higher versus right. He's got to get a nice solid contact boost versus righties. He doesn't have a ton of extra base hits versus righties. He's only got 3 home runs and 11 doubles. However, one of those home runs came during this update cycle. I really don't know if we're going to get a boost to his power versus right, but Gurriel is a guy that I'm taking a look at and feeling out for possibly getting to gold on the next update, but he should hopefully get some sort of a boost on this one. Daniel Hudson's another solid silver to gold candidate. He's only had 3 games since the last roster update, so not a ton of work. However, his walks per 9 and his Ks per 9 are only at 73. And on the season, he's got 1.61 walks per 9 and 11.28 Ks per 9. He definitely deserves enough of a boost to get himself to gold, especially since in 6 of his last 7 games, he struck out 2 in each game. He's only a relief pitcher, so he's only pitching 1 inning per game. In his last 7 innings, he struck out 12 batters. He definitely deserves a boost to his Ks per 9. He's only walked 1 batter since May 16th. That's 11 games. And in that time frame, only walked 1 guy. His walks per 9 deserve a boost. His Ks per 9 deserve a boost. Daniel Hudson should be a gold right now. Those are the guys that I think have a good shot at getting the boost to diamond. Some of them not quite get to diamond. They might tease us a little bit. You know how the game goes. All those silvers, I'm thinking that they're all gonna make it to gold except Lourdes Gurriel. Gurriel might just get himself the boost to 79. Either way, there are stubs to be made on these players. If there's anybody that I forgot in the roster update, if there's anybody that you guys think are going to go gold or diamond, then let me know in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts, tell me what you're feeling, and we also stream on Twitch almost every night at 11 p.m. Eastern. I really love the community, and I'm happy to help in any way I can. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It really helps. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video.